never happened. Okay, but I stopped it right before we got in.
Alright.
Go.
That's awesome. Alright.
Yeah.
Take 2. Alright. 3, 2, 1.
And we are back with another episode. You're gonna wanna tune in for this one. My words are all twisted because there's a lot of anxiety right now, but it's okay. We're good to go. My next special guest of All Things Radio, bring your flowers. My name is J Vibes. She doesn't need an introduction, but I'm gonna give her one. Okay, you might have seen her. She's the girl behind the camera. Her art is pretty much everywhere these days, from Twitter to Chicago to the NFT World and back. She now has her artwork in a few galleries around. You might be able to see it if you know what's up. All right, give it up for the one and only Angel Ramirez in the building. Hello. What's going on, Angel? How you doing?
What is up? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Nah, anytime. Definitely something I had kept in mind, and I was like, man, I definitely need to get her. But then you pop up every now and again, and same thing, we kind of bump heads every now and again. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then I saw you, and I was like, oh, we're like planning the episodes as we were there at like Tokyo, and I was like, nah, I should ask her. I was like, fuck it, now is better time than any. So yeah, dope. Thank you for doing this. Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
This is cool. So I wanted to talk to you simply because your artwork is incredible. Okay, you're an amazing photographer and artist overall, and I want to talk about pretty much your work. So how did you get into photography and everything like that? Because you're kind of well known for it.
Yeah, so I knew whenever I graduated high school, I wasn't going to go to college. I had no plans. I just told myself that I wasn't going to work a 9-to-5 forever, and I was going to be my own boss. Mm-hmm. And absolutely no idea what I was going to do. Then my boyfriend and I started traveling around the country in my car, and I was like, oh, I have to take pictures of this. Like, we see so many beautiful things. So I bought a digital camera, and we went on a trip again, and all my photos sucked ass. They looked really bad. Landscape was not my thing. And then we came back, and I convinced myself there was no landscape here for me to shoot. And so I had to try something else. And so I tried out portrait photography, and it ended up going really well. I started making good money from it. I didn't do it full time. I couldn't, but it was definitely an experience. And I thought like, oh, this is how I'm going to find my way out. I'm going to do this forever. I'm going to be my own boss this way. And then I realized like, I'm not my own boss at all. I'm scheduling photo shoots that cater to other people. I'm having to set up and do exactly what they want me to do. And I have to get things done by a certain date. And it just started becoming a hassle instead of fun. And I was like, this isn't sustainable. I can't keep doing this. So we ended up traveling again, and I took my film camera instead, and landscape photos again came back. They weren't that great, but it was just a different feeling this time. Like not knowing what I got on camera, having to wait for a while to see it, and then just not being able to take like multiple pictures and stand there and look at it and be like, this sucks, redo. It was like shoot and go, and whatever you get with, like you're just gonna have to love it. And so then COVID happened. And like a lot of stuff happened in between. A lot of crazy stuff happened. And if you listen to my Twitter spaces, I get like much more personable about it. But I'm struggling with alcoholism, struggling with anxiety, depression, a lot of fears. And it was all during COVID, and I was really alone. And that's like one of my biggest fears, is being alone. And so my camera's broke, had to get a different camera, ended up getting a Nikonos, which is my waterproof camera. And I have this huge fear of the ocean, and that's the reason why I got it was because like I had to start facing my fears somewhere. And I was like, I think I can tackle it with the one thing I love, photography.
Right.
And so my boyfriend started taking me to the ocean, and it started with my ankles, and like my first photos with my Nikonos are all just like ankle height water. And then progressively you can see me getting deeper, and now I swim with the surfers when it's like rip tide and stuff. But started just dipping my toes in photography, trying to figure out what I liked, and now I'm doing full-time landscape, all here in Corpus. COVID is what made me realize like we have so much beauty here. Like the only thing that was really open was the beach. It's the only thing you could do. And so I just felt so lucky. Like it was the first time that I actually felt really lucky to live here. Like I realized like we have so many sea turtles, we have so much beautiful scenery, and the ocean is the best landscape. I used to think like all my friends are from the Pacific Northwest. So I used to think like the only thing was like moody and cool trees and mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've totally grown out of that. I don't ever actually want to be in that area anymore. I'm really scared to move. We're supposed to move in 2 years. And I used to like count down the days, but now I'm just like very, very sad thinking about it.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, let me enjoy the moment type thing. That's crazy. I didn't know anything about that. You just gave me a whole like bio pic right now of your story, and that's very cool. It was very generic, and like just, I don't know, organic. That's the better word. What is it? So do you have your own like type of red room where you develop these photos, or is it all like digital?
So unfortunately, I don't have a red room yet, so I don't make my own prints, but I develop all my film myself. They're like these little tiny canisters that you put everything in now, so you don't have to have like a whole black room. You just put everything in the canister and make it in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, all my film is developed by me.
That's cool. So how did you teach? Did you teach yourself that? Is that?
Yeah, I did. I taught myself everything. I went to school for like in Austin for a little bit for photography when I had my digital camera, but I learned nothing. I would go there so high that I would fall asleep in class every single day that I went. It was actually really shitty of me. But yeah, so with the film camera, I taught myself how to use that. Little YouTube University, and then developing it, same thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, is this something that you just grew to have a passion for, or you just always had a passion for, or did you know you were gonna do this?
Not at all. Yeah. I remember when I was in elementary, I got my first camera. I really liked it. I remember having a Polaroid when I was little. I really liked also. Then middle school, like Instagram came out and everyone wanted to be a photographer, at least all my friends.
True.
So yeah, that was when I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. But it was almost like that thing when you're little where you're like, I'm going to be a vet. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be this. Like there was not an actual set in stone, like I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Then high school came around and I was in journalism and they gave us a camera to go take photos around the school with. And I had told my dad I really liked it. And he gave me his old film camera and I had never touched it. I bought the digital camera to go travel with before I even pulled out that film camera. But when I decided to finally pull it out, I had it. It was my dad's. And so the one that I'm using right now is my dad's. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought I had gotten it stolen recently. And I did get 2 cameras stolen from me, but one of them, I had 2. One was my dad's and then one was a backup. And I ended up having the backup and not my dad's. And so I found that out like a few weeks after I lost the camera. And it was like a nice feeling to just not lose something that your freaking dad gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. My dad gave me like a golden necklace and a bracelet at one point growing up, and like I lost it, and then I just felt like shit. I was like, man, I'm that guy. Like, who doesn't give a shit? I'm just like, and then it's just you high, smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? You're just like carefree, and it's just like, where's the bracelet? Where's the neck? Fuck, I'm that guy. And then you explain it, and they don't care. They're just like, wow, you really don't give 2 shits. And it's just like, oh, no, damn it. Now I'm just sad. I disappointed you, and that's just the worst. Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. That's cool that you went to Austin for that, even though like you said you kind of really didn't learn too much, but like it's all good. I feel like YouTube University is the best way to kind of teach yourself these days. Yeah, and same thing like how you said, like it's not something, radio for me wasn't something that I like wanted to do or even knew I was going to do. I was going to school for radio and television production, and I wanted to be more on the film side and like writing TV shows and writing scripts and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that's so interesting. I love how movies are put together, TV shows, everything like that. Then they make you take like a radio class, and like I'm doing like it's a whole semester of radio. So I'm like, I got into it. I was like, yo, this is cool. I was like, music, interviewing people, like, and you're just kind of chilling out and you're talking to people and people are really listening and they're like fans. And I was like, man, that's cool. Then at the same time, I had a bunch of friends and everybody like who were becoming artists, you know, guitarists, rapper, singer, painter, photographer, videographers, everything like that. And I was like, man, I love the music industry and how it connects like all these different tasks and jobs. And I was like, how's a way I can do that without like, cause I can't sing everybody. I can't, you know, rap, and I wasn't too great behind the camera. I tested it out, but it wasn't something that like, I don't know. I take okay photos. I wouldn't say they're great or like, I don't know, publishable. That's what I'm saying, right? And so I was like, okay, like, well, I can host things and I love to talk to people and I love interviewing people. And it started out with me doing a blog. I was a blogger and I just was like telling all my friends stories, but that's just all writing. So I was like, nah, I need something else. And then at the same time, these classes were going on, and then I got a job here and I was just like, oh, this is perfect. And like, I just love music and I just want to be around it. And so I assume it's the same for like photos now that you're like in the scene, and that's cool. So recently you had some of your work out there in Chicago. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so that was my first gallery that I've ever been in. I have a really amazing group of friends. And one of them specifically, her name is Brittany Pierre, and she's in NFTs as well. She's a photographer as well, and she's leading the way for Black women in NFTs, but also like BIPOC and then women as well. But for her, Black women are always first, which makes sense. She's a Black woman. And so anytime she gets any opportunities, I'm like one of the first people she tells because we're really, really good friends. And that was one of the opportunities was it's called Balance. The exhibition was called Balance in the gallery, and the gallery is called I'm Not Art, and it's an NFT gallery. And so she just asked me to submit my work for it, and I was accepted for the gallery, and then I had to go out there to Chicago to go see it in person. And when I was out there, I actually ended up landing a job because I got what I wanted. Like last year I told myself I wanted to be a full-time artist, and I got what I wanted, and I figured out I didn't really like it. Yeah. Like I like being an artist. Like I like working for myself. I'm still my own boss. Like
is it like the hustle part of it, or is it the
No, it was the lack thereof. I wasn't doing anything. Yeah. And I was just working for myself. It not that it's selfish to do that, but I'm a very selfless person. And I don't think that that's my only job in life, or the only thing that I was put on this earth for was to create art. I think it's like I've always been like a little activist. I've always been like women's rights. I've been a community builder for a while. Like before NFTs, I was building communities on Twitter, like photo communities. And I just really like using my voice for tons of different things. And so whenever I was there, I was just talking to the owner of the gallery, and we had so many things in common. And one of the things I was telling him was like, I'm getting really scared because I'm very vocal in the NFT space, and it's white male dominated, and I'm constantly preaching for BIPOC inclusion and women inclusion and LGBTQA plus all that stuff, and everyone's trying to shut me up, or you know, they just want to ignore it. It does rattle people up, which it shouldn't, you know, but it does. And so I was telling him like, I think I'm getting blacklisted, like slowly but surely. Like, I don't think that people want to buy my work. And he was like, well, how does that make you feel? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to change. Yeah. I was like, I'll lose fucking money for the things I believe in. Yeah. And he was like, same. Like, that's why he's like this white man, hella fucking crypto rich, like owns this whole gallery. And he's like, same, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I will lose money to stand for the things that I believe in. And I was like, I got to work for this man.
Yeah,
like,
that's badass. Yeah, that's a sign.
Just anything. Like, I have to do anything for him. And so I was sitting there and I was like, I would really like to work with you guys. Yeah. And he was like, I can figure it out. So they gave me my own little talk show on Twitter. And I host a Twitter space. It's called Angels and Degens. And I've been doing it for 3 months now.
I've seen.
Yeah. And it's so fun. I interview people the same way that you interview people. And it's about NFT stuff, of course. Yeah. And that's the best thing that's happened to me, because also last year I told myself like I want to become a curator. Like I want to curate art for a museum or for a gallery. And so I'm friends with tons of really, really big people in the NFT space. And when I first started doing my Angel and Degen space, I was like, yeah, we booked Drift. Yeah, Justin Aversano's. These names probably don't mean anything to you, but
shout out all of them.
Yes, shout out all of them. But I was like, yeah, they said yes. The Cool Cat. I don't know if you've ever seen my little Cool Cat profile picture. Yeah, the creator of that Klon. I reached out to him. He talks to me and stuff, and they were just blown away. And they're like, "You have so much reach." And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "You should be a curator. If you can talk to all these artists, if you can get them to all come together, like and do solo shows, do stuff like group shows and stuff." And they were like, "We would love for you to do that. Like handle artist relations, handle curation." And I was like, "Say fucking less." Like
I'm there.
So dope. And so I have not curated yet, but I'm like coming together. We got my boy Vinny Hager. Probably don't know him. He's not just an NFT artist, but he's like a traditional artist before that. And he like doodles on everything. Very much that one guy, Keith Harington vibes. Very much Keith Harington vibes, but our generation. And Vinny Hager is getting a solo show soon at our gallery. And I'm curating it, and I'm very excited for that.
Congratulations on that. That's big news. Wow. So tell me a little bit about, I guess, the NFT world, and I guess your talk show, how it's all incorporated. Like, tell me a little bit about that.
So the NFT world, it's kind of hard to talk about. I feel like kind of hard to just start from one spot. When I got into NFTs, I was being urged to do it by my friends who had already been doing it for half the year. And prior to that, I had seen a really well-known artist on Twitter. His name is Noah K. I can't think of his last name, but I remember seeing him tweeting in 2020, like, I want to move out of my house. Then that was at the beginning of the year. Mid-year, he was like, I found NFTs. I live in New York now. Then at the end of the year, he's like, I have my own penthouse, blah, 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 blah. I'm never going back to work and stuff like that. And I was like, what the fuck are NFTs?
Yeah.
So then my friends start doing them and I'm like, oh, this is money laundering.
Yeah.
This is illegal. Like, I can't do this. I can't touch this. And all my friends are making so much money. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Bored Ape Yacht Club, but if you haven't, you can Google it after this. I got told to buy one when they first came out. They're $400. You can't buy a Bored Ape for less than $200,000 now. And I was convinced, like, my friends were fucking just throwing their money away. I was like, you're throwing $400, you're throwing your fucking $400 away. No, like, you're crazy. And I'm over here, like, buying weed and stuff, like, doing nothing with my money.
That's a weekend. That's a fun weekend.
Like, I'm just judging them, and they're just, like, becoming these huge investors. And so one of my really good friends, Judy Lindsay, she's older than me, and she was just like, hey, I'm giving you an invitation to this platform, and it's invite only, and you need to put your artwork on it, and you need to sell NFTs.
Right.
She's like, if you want to become this full-time artist, if you want to become this giant photographer, you need to do this now.
Be about it.
Yeah. And I was like, no. And so I hot minute. And I accepted the invitation, but I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I don't trust this. I didn't trust crypto. I had no idea about any of it. It just made me feel like I would lose money. That's it. And when I thought about it, I was like, I'm just going to lose money. That's all that's going to happen. So then one day she DMs me and she's like, if you're not going to use it, I'm giving it to someone else. And I was like, say less, put my artwork.
I got it. Yeah.
Still didn't know what to do. I just like put it up there on a platform. I feel like it's like if you put your stuff out for Craigslist and you just don't tell anyone about it. That's exactly what I did. And I had no expectations. I had nothing, but my piece was up for like $1,500 or some shit like that.
That's damn.
Yeah. And I didn't think it was gonna sell. Like, I had no conviction at all.
Yeah.
And I'm at work one day and I get a DM and it's from this musician. His name is BT. He's from the 90s. He was like really popular back then. And he's like, hey, I saw your work on my timeline. Can I buy it as a print or can I buy it as an NFT? And this is not the photo that I have up on this private platform that I got invited to. It's a different one. Yeah. And I was like, this is my in. Like, I'm about to sell my fucking first NFT. Like, fuck a print. You ain't getting no print, bitch. You getting this NFT. And so I was like, yes, like, we can do NFT. Like, what price are you thinking of? And then we ended up landing on like 0.35 Ethereum, which at the time, I don't even know how much that was worth. And he was like, yeah, that seems fair to me. And I was like, fuck yeah, like, yes, like I sold my first NFT piece that day. And I remember being at work and like I had just gotten off and I just started like fucking crying because it was like $1,000, I think, that I had just sold like this one photo for that I had never even planned on selling as a print. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, like this is crazy. It was probably less than $1,000, but it was still just so mind-blowing. Because ETH was pretty low whenever I first started. It was barely worth like 2.1 thousand. And so I was just blown away. I felt like I'm gonna get out of this fucking job. Like I was literally like bartending and I was like, bro, I'm about to leave this shit. Like, fuck all y'all. Yeah. And so
I'm about to bounce, you know? Yes. I'm big in the crypto world, dog. Y'all don't even know.
Y'all don't even know.
It's sleeping on me.
The next day I go back to work and then I get an email that my piece on that private platform had sold. Yeah. And it was by this collector. All these names mean nothing to you guys. It's so funny to me. But his name is 888. That's what he goes by. A lot of these people are anonymous. They don't want you to know who they are. A lot of them are like billionaires to millionaires and stuff. And so they just don't want any of their information out there. Okay. And so he's, his pseudo name is 888. And he and BT are friends. And so whenever BT bought my piece, 888 saw my work. Yeah. And he bought my, what they call a Genesis piece. And it's your first piece ever that you ever put out on what they call the blockchain. And so, I started crying my eyes out because I was like, holy fuck, like I just sold 2 pieces of art in 2 days, back to back. And this is what I usually make in like a week or so, like, you know, Twin Peaks. But it was still just so mind-blowing.
No, because you just like made that in 2 days compared to like a week, 2 weeks work.
Yeah, and I was struggling selling like $20 prints at one point. And so I was like, holy shit, like this is it. Like, this is freedom. This is really, truly freedom. And I know a lot of people don't understand NFTs. I know it kind of makes a lot of people angry. Like, whenever they think about it, I see tweets all the time. Like, you know, if you do NFTs, you should kill yourself. I fucking hate crypto bros. NFTs are the worst fucking thing that have ever happened in this world. They don't make any sense. I could just screenshot it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. Like, this digital age that we live in, everything... I don't know. Everything's just digital. So whenever I found out about NFTs, it was never a matter of, oh, someone can just screenshot this and be the owner of it. It was never that for me. Because, like, I don't know, digital provenance, digital, like owning stuff digitally is already a thing. And I think whenever I think about NFTs, you just think of shoes. It's the best way I can explain it to people. Reselling clothes and reselling shoes. comic books is how I also explain it. So
Yeah,
when you
it's just buy, resell.
yes, that's exactly what it is. And if you're lucky enough to be able to buy these things whenever they're at a low price, and then, you know, it's always a gamble.
Yeah.
But if you get something good and you're able to flip it,
Yeah, no.
dude, you can make a fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. So I recently got into like the vintage clothing scene, and I started, I don't know, probably late 2020, and I saw there was a rare vintage Star Wars shirt. It's like original one from the 80s. Princess Leia's on it, everything.
I know exactly
it's cool.
what brand you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's tight. It's very cool, very unique, but it was like stretched out. It was, you know, very faded, but it still looked nice. It had like, I think, some rips in it, and it was cool. And I was like, man, like, that looks like an expensive shirt, but I'm thinking a couple hundred. I'm not thinking, and they're like, yeah, this is like a $2,000 shirt. And I was like, what the fuck? And they were just like, yeah. And then, so there was guys like, you know, bidding, and this is in Florida, and they're bidding. They're like, yeah, I'll give you 1,800, or I'll give you 22, or like, and I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, I asked the people who are buying, I'm like, yo, are y'all gonna like wear this? And they're like, no, dude, I'm just literally gonna resell it, or I'm gonna put it in my wall as a trophy. And I'm like, that blows my fucking mind. I was like, this shirt was probably like $10 back in the 80s, like now, but I'm just like, holy shit. And then yeah, it kind of blew my mind of how like that's just the kind of the world we live in, of buy, resell. But it's fine. It's an art form, it's a hustle, and it's just cool. I mean, I feel like it's neat because you're like getting old products that are vintage now, or even like the original piece, and it's just like, it's such a cool feeling. It's such a like no one has this, or no one else could have this, or like this is mine. I don't know, you understand.
I get it. It's a collector mentality for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you don't like collecting things, you're not going to like NFTs. And I feel like people just don't want to wrap their head around it.
Yeah.
Like people want to remain ignorant about it.
I think they're scared of change.
Yeah, and I think that people don't understand how much digital shit matters to them. Because if somebody hacks a Twitter account, and if this person's big, they're going to pay a lot of money to get it back, because that's your digital identity.
Yeah.
And so...
Oof.
Yeah, like we really forget about these.
Yeah,
things.
the digital footprint we leave.
Everything is digital now, and so NFTs just, I don't know, they make sense to me. I don't mind it. You can screenshot my cool cat if you guys want to. It doesn't bother me. You're not gonna have what it's worth. Basically, you know, it's like it's like if I go take a picture of your mortgage or your house and I try to sell it on Zillow. I have the picture, I have the listing. I can't fucking sell the house because I don't have the mortgage. It's like you can't sell my stuff because you don't have it. Like, yeah I don't know. Yeah.
That's smart. That's like a real like rundown version of way to look at it. And I was like, oh, I follow that. So like that was perfect. NFTs for idiots, y'all. I'm just playing. But that's cool. You gave me a way big like I guess insight on just the whole digital art community, and that's pretty cool. So you recently had your photo at the Produce Art Gallery show. What was that like, having it in your own city?
It was crazy. I feel like I'm so shy in person that I'm not really good at putting myself out in Corpus.
Okay.
Like don't try to actively put my art in the art community here, even though it's so big. But it's because I'm a really, really shy person, and I don't like in-person things. That's not my thing. If I know you, then it's cool.
Yeah, is that why you're big on social media, or what?
Because I'm like better behind the scene. I talk a lot better whenever I'm like on my Twitter spaces. I don't see anyone. I don't have to look at anyone. It comes more naturally to me. But whenever I have to do things in person, I kind of like will clam up sometimes. And so, yeah, it wasn't for me for a while. And but now that it's here, now that I finally did it, I feel so nice. It was really cool having people come up to me and be like, "Did you do that?
Yeah,
that's so amazing.
This is me."
Yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's here." Like, it's so cool that it's here. I think that's the best part, is that like I took the photos here, and now they're being displayed here. When like, you know, it was in Chicago, and it's like so wintry over there. Everyone really liked it, but I feel like it's not the same. Like looking at your city on a huge display being shown in the, not to sound cocky, but in the type of way that I show this city is just, I feel like it's really, really nice. Yeah. It's really different.
It feels loving and it feels cozy, and it's just a nice, warm feeling. It was definitely cool to see. I thought it was dope. I was like, damn. I always see you on social media because you're always active, and you're always your shows and everything else, and your posts and your just photography alone. But it was cool, like just seeing it at a place that I go to constantly, just downtown locally, and especially at like Art Walk. I was like, this is cool. I don't know how, and then that's just me thinking that. I can't imagine how you felt. So like, yeah.
It was super special, especially because like I couldn't take my mom to Chicago because of COVID and everything, and she has a condition already. Can't even think of the word right now, but she has kidney failure, and so she can't go out and about and do all these things like everyone else. She'll get sick easier, and so it was really shitty when she couldn't come to Chicago, but I was so happy that she got to see it in person here.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then sorry about your mom. I hope all is well.
No, I think she's good. She's chilling. Yeah.
Cool. Good. That's good to hear. Hell yeah, I'm happy for that. So 2022 is kicking off. We're like a few months in already. You got some stuff planned out for later this year that you could share?
I'm going to South by Southwest this coming weekend.
Yes.
I'm doing every NFT thing possible. I'm submitting art for a show that's going to be in Austin. Fingers crossed, but I don't know if I'm going to get in.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. I try not to plan far ahead, honestly, especially as an artist. And this space is moving so quickly. If I try to plan too far ahead, the shit that I had planned is irrelevant at that point.
True. At that point, yeah.
And so right now, I'm not trying to release any new work yet. I'm trying to sell the stuff that I have up on all the pages that I'm on, like OpenSea Foundation. That's basically it. And I'm also trying to just get into more galleries. It's kind of been my thing ever since December. Like, I told myself that I wanted to be in a gallery before I was 25, and it happened whenever I landed the Chicago thing. I had turned 25 2 weeks after that.
Wow.
And then this January, the beginning of the year, my work was in Prague. And
wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's crazy.
And then this week it's in LA at the Super Chief Gallery, and it happened the opening of that exhibition happened the same night as the opening exhibition of Produce.
Damn. Everywhere and back, coast to coast. That's cool.
Fuck yeah.
That's dope, man. Hell yeah. I'm proud of you. Congratulations on all your success. That's fucking cool. I'm excited to see where the rest of the year takes you. And yeah, I get you, because then you kind of get like a tunnel vision of like, now, like, I'm planning this for next week, but if I'm planning this at the end of the month, I don't give a shit about next week. I'm looking towards the end of the month. Like, so I get that. Yeah, that's a cool mentality to have. I fucks with it. And I fucks with your work and your whole aesthetic. Everything is dope. It's fire. Is there any like last minute things you want to cover?
No.
Nah. This is good. This is dope. All right, cool. Before we end this and I let you go, can you tell everybody where they could find your work, where they could give you a follow?
On Twitter, on Instagram, Ainge_Ram. Yeah. And then on OpenSea and on Foundation, if you buy NFTs, buy my shit.
There you go. Y'all buy this girl shit one time. NFTs all day. I got Angel Ramirez in the building. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Of All Things Radio, bring your flowers. Another one for the books. Shout out Ducky. Shout out Ambrose Brown. J Vibes in the building. Thank y'all for listening and tuning in. That's one for the books, baby. We out. Sheesh.